this thing we call imposter syndrome. This is something many of us, the best of us, wrestle with, but rarely admit to it. You know, that nagging feeling that you're not enough, that your success is a luck, not skill or not deserved. So this is something that we should unpack and, more importantly, learn how to move past it. So you ask yourself, what is imposter syndrome? It's that inner critic. So it's you speaking to yourself, telling you you're a fraud, despite clear evidence of your skill and achievements. You doubt your abilities, you dismiss your success as luck, and fear of being found out. Fear of like, okay, they're gonna catch me, eventually they're gonna find out I'm a fraud. This is not that voice in your head telling you all of that. And research has shown that 70% of people will experience this at some point. Yes, even the most accomplished amongst us. It often affects high achieving women, minorities, maybe you're from a minority race, and anyone stepping into new territories. The truth is, imposter syndrome is rooted in perfectionism, self-doubt, and sometimes external biases. And it's never about your capability as a person. So how does it affect us? How does imposter syndrome affect us? Living with imposter syndrome can be exhausting. This is something that I've had to battle with as a person myself. You overwork yourself to prove yourself. You say no to opportunities that you deserve because you feel you're not good enough. Or you just, struggle with chronic self-doubts. And what this can do is, one, it can stifle your creativity. It can prevent you from growing and even lead to burnout. Sometimes you're just trying to let me just do this, let me just do a lot. And you just burn out because you're being too hard on yourself. But here's the thing. It doesn't affect reality. No. It reflects your mindset as a person. It's your mind playing games on you, right? And many a times we feel alone in the struggle. And then when you look at women that, are out there showing all sorts of confidence, writing books, speaking, inspiring people, the likes of Ibukun Awosika, the likes of Michelle Obama, the likes of Sheryl Sandberg, even Tom Hanks, yes, they have admitted they deal with it. They've dealt with it over time and they've overcome it. So how can you overcome imposter syndrome? First, you have to recognize and acknowledge that it is there. So that awareness is the first step. So when that voice in your head is telling you that, oh, you're not good enough, you're a fraud, people are gonna figure you out eventually and all of that, you acknowledge it. And then you're able to dissect it and say, this is a distortion of reality, it's not the truth. You speak to yourself. I'm very big on positive affirmations. If that works for you as well, every morning just have it there. I am good enough. I am confident. I deserve every wins that I get. I am a woman of valor. I have dreams. I have aspirations. And I will achieve them. I am blessed. You speak to yourself those words. It works. Celebrate your achievements. So one thing that could help, and a dear friend of mine told me this, that you don't celebrate yourself enough. You're too hard on yourself. When you begin to write down the things that you've achieved and the wins that you've had, you would live in gratitude. So you could just have like a win journal. It could even be on your computer, on your phone. It could be a book if you like to write. Record your accomplishments, big or small. This would remind you of the efforts that you've put into the success. And then you would know that it's not just sheer luck. Speak up. Talk about how you feel with a trusted friend. Talk about how you feel with a mentor. Talk about how you feel to someone that you trust, a coach. And you often find out that they have been there too. You are not alone. And when you're in a situation where you speak and you realize that you're not alone, that perspective can ground you like, oh wow, even my mentor can be going through this and she or he is able to do these things, then I can do it too. Reframe failure. There are times that we don't achieve what we want to achieve, or we set goals as high as the sky and we hit the tree and we feel like we haven't achieved anything. Redefine failure, reframe failure. Failure isn't the proof of inadequacy in any ways. It's a proof of growth. You can get it right all the time. Everyone stumbles. It's all part of learning. So see every opportunity where you fail as an opportunity to learn how to do it better, how you learn how not to do it, so that next time you try, you then will get better at it. Often at times, we want perfection. We've set goals, we're working on some things, we want it to be all perfect. Replace perfectionism with progress. We are all work in progress. No one is perfect. Set realistic goals. Celebrate effort over time. So when you set realistic goals, set milestones. So at each milestone, you celebrate your wins. You don't have to wait for it to be all perfect. You're writing a book, you've written just 2 chapters, celebrate those 2 chapters you've read. You want to invest in real estate, you set a goal of having a property by the end of the year. You just bought a land, celebrate the land. Right? You're taking up a master's degree. It's tough. You're going on. You've written your first semester exams. Distinctions, celebrate those distinctions. So when you remember that progress is better than perfect, it puts you in that mind, it gives you that mind shift and enables you celebrate those steps that you take. And that way you're able to deal with the imposter syndrome that you face. And, it's quite interesting that, this affects women more often than it does affect men. And I feel like this is woven into the stereotype in our head, the bias that we face, cultural norms, especially from people in certain cultures and countries. And, growing up, sometimes you find out that there are more expectations for the male child over the female child. But all of these things are beginning to, there's a shift we're beginning to see, So once you're able to have it at the back of your mind that this is something that I have and I need to face, you're able to recognize it, like I said. You celebrate your achievements, speaking up, sharing it, learning from others, reframing your failures, and replacing perfection, or rather perfectionism, with progress. When you're able to do all of that, then you're able to work around imposter syndrome. I want you to know that imposter syndrome is a liar. It's not true, but you don't have to believe it. Yeah, because it's not true, you don't have to believe it. Recognize it, name it, and choose growth over fear. Your achievements are not by accident. They are a testament to your hard work, talent, and perseverance. So, thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for listening to my video. If this resonates with you or someone you know, share it.